Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your ever-loving host, Shorty, and we're carrying on our reviews of this week's new releases. There wasn't much this week, and some of them have already sold out, so I'm doing something I never thought I'd do. I'm going to review Maestro. I've been really enjoying the Immortal Hulk thing, and I thought, well, this other alternate version of Hulk, could be interesting. Was definitely not something interesting, because I really like the Immortal Hulk thing, the Demon Hulk in his head, and all the stuff that's going on. And don't get me wrong, that can get a bit confusing, and it relies on an awful lot of backstory to really make sense of it. And Al Jung is doing a great job of putting that in. But this is them kind of creating a backstory. Yes, Maestro is a character that already exists, but there's never been a full explanation of why he's there. So it's like, okay, let's figure this out together. Let's have some fun, see what actually happens. And before we get too much into the story, we're going to have to talk about the art, because when it first starts, there's a very good plot reason why, but it all looks so very shiny. Look at everyone grimacing and all the lines and smooth stuff, and there's even, get it in there, little jokes about the movies. And it is just a bit too crisp and clean for me. After reading Immortal Hulk for a while, I thought this is probably not going to be something for me, if I'm completely honest. It's all too classic Marvel, in fact, classic Avengers rather than anything else, which is not something that really interests me. And then you get this, and that looks amazing. That's a genuinely cool piece of art, regardless of whether anything else. Can't deny that looks absolutely fantastic. And also, if you don't mind me saying so, Hulk with a beard, hot. And as you're getting through it more and more, you realise that there was a deliberate reason why they went with the art style they did, and they had to dramatically change it when something else happens. This is a very good thing, as it turns out. What it means is they're playing with the idea that the comic book art itself can tell part of the story. If you're going to have cool crisp lines and digital colouring and everything like that, the way you would do in classic Avengers kind of run that's ongoing at the moment, there's probably going to have to be a good reason for it if you're also going to deal with some kind of post-apocalyptic doom and or gloom. And they actually do it. They work really, really well. And here we get onto the story of it. Now, I don't want to spoil too much. I actually did a big spoiler yesterday's review. I actually do apologise for that one. I was just chatting away, and this is the problem of doing it all live. Sometimes I can make a mistake and not realise I've done it until after the fact. But I don't want to spoil it too much, but, you kind of already deal with the fact that the Maestro is like a Hulk that's come along after some kind of event. He's no longer just Banner as per. So, yeah, there is an event that happens, and it turns out MODOK has been trying his best to maintain some kind of survival rates by keeping an awful lot of the radiation-absorbing characters, heroes, villains, etc., on ice, and introducing them to this brave new world, although not introducing, and it's not really brave. There's basically a whole bunch of stuff going on there, which actually, again, I don't want to get into too much detail, but suffice to say, it's actually handled pretty damn well. It could have just been somebody wakes up from being on ice for a while and sees what's going on, and that could have been literally about 3 pages worth of plot. They did quite a lot of story weaving in there, and it actually was a genuinely fun thing to read. You got the chance for Banner Hulk, like the intelligence of Banner with Hulk, to come out and shine, and that was really quite nice. You also got his frustration, the fact that, yes, I'm Hulk, I don't have to listen to you puny humans. He has a bit of a couple of even jokes in there, which is kind of nice. Then when you find out what actually happened, and his reaction to it is, it's very cynical, very world-weary, and I suppose when there's somebody who, as we found out from the Immortal Hulk, is pretty much going to live forever, you're going to see a lot of things which aren't necessarily great, and as a result of that, you may not have as much faith in humanity as you thought you might once have. And we end up with this really nice little rundown of, there's no way humans could have done this terrible thing to themselves. Surely the heroes would have stopped them. Yeah, just like they did 9/11 and school shootings. And I can't remember the exact line, but it's like, who cares about gun control? Let's see what the Red Skull's up to. It's like, yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's always that kind of a divide between what happens in the real world and what happens in the comic book world. Even though technically, yes, the Twin Towers did go down in the Marvel Universe, there kind of had to be a reason why they wouldn't get involved in that. And Banner's just open cynicism and nihilism about the entire thing makes sense. It's not necessarily something that I think like the current Banner would do, but for everything that he's gone through and everything that he's been put through, deliberately put through, not just experienced, had forced upon him, that kind of realization and willingness to give up on the core idea that humanity can be saved, like the fundamental thing for most heroes in the Marvel Universe, just to wipe that to one side and do his own thing. It felt natural and it felt good, and it was well written as well. it played really nicely and made me sympathize with his viewpoint, which is saying something when he's basically saying humanity can go screw itself. So yeah, not necessarily the greatest thing I've ever read, but honestly, if those first few pages put you off, do not worry about it. There is a payoff at the end. My biggest issue is I think I could have just been happy with this as a one-shot issue and it ending right then and there. The fact that I've got another 4 issues where you're going to see him go from that to the Maestro that's been introduced before, I think is something that is unnecessary. Anyway, that's it for me. I might do a review tomorrow. If not, I'll see you next week. Bye!